Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Kate Kunow, Associate Curator at the Cedar Rapids Museum of Art, which is open for viewing the exhibits. You've got one Grant Wood going on and one starting. So first off,
Mhm.
the Grant Wood parody exhibit, how's that going?
It's going really well. Seriously funny. Was really fun to put together. We see so many parodies of American Gothic that we don't even think about them anymore, really. But it's been a really long tradition. American Gothic was painted in 1930, and parodies started locally almost immediately, and then kind of grew in popularity through the 40s and the 50s. And the 1960s is where we really see them take off nationally and be used as kind of a shorthand for American values.
And how long will that exhibit be up?
That exhibition will run through early May.
Okay. So still plenty of time. And of course, now kind of a companion exhibit going up. It's Grant Wood Revealed. And this is going to feature some Grant Wood work that maybe is not seen that often. So tell me how that came together.
So many pieces. Oh my goodness. We have just shy of 300 Grant Wood pieces in our collection, which is the largest number in any public or private institution. And this showcases somewhere around 120 of them. So it's a lot. And like you said, it's a lot of what we call the rarely seen works by an American master. So it's looking at works from his early life and when he was still in school himself, his American Impressionist works like the Indian Creek series, early portraits, the series he did for J.G. Cherry, his lithograph series from the late 30s and early 40s. So it's an enormous exhibition. Metalwork, which is something that he did early in his career and returned to a couple of different times. So it's a really beautiful exhibition. It's 5 galleries, like most of our exhibitions have been in 2020. This was originally supposed to be our last show of 2020 to cap off our 125th anniversary year, but because of COVID, it got scooted a little bit. So here we are with it in 2021, which works out beautifully because 2021 is actually the 175th anniversary of the founding of the state of Iowa.
Well, I've been around the museum and the work of Grant Wood long enough to know that as an artist, kind of the biggest stylistic change that he made was his early work was, very influenced by the French Impressionists. He then embarked on his own style. Were there any other transitions or any other changes in his style or things he did now that, you've had a chance to, kind of take a look at so much of this work? Anything else that comes to mind?
There really is. He has early in his career, he has a couple of different styles. He flirts with Art Deco a little bit in the early 20s. Um, yeah, there's some very interesting stylized stuff, both metal work and in design that are very Art Deco influenced. He kind of goes back and forth, even in the 1920s, between his American Impressionist style and the more hard edge stylized version that would become his mature, best known style. This really reveals itself in his portraiture from the 20s. So this is when he was still, painting very impressionist landscapes, but when he was commissioned to do portraits, his style really tightens up, which makes sense because when you commission a portrait, you want that to be as tight and true to life as possible. So it's interesting to see how he really anticipates his mature style in a number of works from the 1920s. So I think that's cool to see how it's always there. It's kind of hovering in the background. But as you say, it wasn't really until 1928 when he went to Germany to work with the Emil Frey Stained Glass Company that he really decided to stick with that and work on that as his mature style.
When does the exhibit go up and how long will it be up?
It opens this Saturday, February 13th, and it'll be on view until mid May.
So you mentioned metalwork and in past exhibits at the museum and other places, of course, we've always seen some of the work that he did with metal. Are there going to be any pieces maybe that we haven't seen too much before in previous exhibits?
So many. We have the fireplace screen on view, which has been up in the past. A pair of decorative gates he did, some fireplace andirons, a very elaborate and decorative candle lampstand, some smaller pieces like the necklace and some smaller medals that he did in the early 20s. A series of floral lunettes are also in there because I kind of put all of his decorative commissions together. But yeah, it's a lot of things that actually haven't been on view before, haven't at least been on view for the past 15 years.
As now, of course, you spent a lot of time in the basement looking at all the stuff in the collection, and you mentioned over 300 Grant Wood pieces that are housed there at the museum by Grant Wood. But for all the time that you've spent, going through all of that, did you stumble on anything new or anything that you'd totally forgotten about and went, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe we have this"?
A lot of things, actually. I found a lot of decorative pieces of his. He did a beautiful folding screen for a Cedar Rapids family that's really lovely and just unexpected. And now that I know it's him, it does look like him, but it's just not what I was thinking it was going to be. It's always fun. We also have some private loans from this from people in the area who have Grant Wood works. Those are always really fun. And I had forgotten, I've seen several of these before just visiting people's homes, but I'd actually forgotten how beautiful they are. So it's really fun to bring those out too, because any work that's in a private collection is definitely rarely seen.
The exhibit Grant Wood Revealed opens February 13th and will be running for the next several months. Now, I know that your in-person programming is really limited, but you do have some Zoom chats and things like that that people can get in on if they want to learn more about the exhibit. Yes?
Yeah, absolutely. Our next Art Bites, which is our monthly public talk that is on the first Wednesday of every month at 12:15, will be on this exhibit, and we're planning to have it kind of be a room by room preview of what people can see if they come to the museum. So that'll be the first Wednesday of March at 12:15, and so that'll be available via Zoom, and you can find that link on our website. And we're also working up a couple of more lectures with Grant Wood scholars that we think will be really great, which again will be via Zoom. So yeah, we're very excited about being able to bring Grant Wood people together. And maybe one of the silver linings of COVID is that it's easier to get major scholars. We don't have to fly them to Iowa now.
And for the museum itself, the museum is open, but tell us just a little bit about your COVID and safety protocols that you've got in place so that everybody has a safe and enjoyable experience.
Absolutely. We do require masks everywhere in the museum. If you don't have one, you can purchase one at the front desk for $1. We have a hearty supply. We've also enhanced our cleaning protocols. And so there's a lot of Clorox wipes every day on most surfaces, advanced cleaning. And luckily, it's a museum. You're not really supposed to touch anything anyway. So once you get in here and you have a mask, you can enjoy the museum basically in the same way that you could before COVID, which is great.
And what are the museum hours?
We are open Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday from noon to 4. Thursday, we're open late from noon to 8, and Saturday, we're open from 10 to 4. And all of that is available on our museum website, which is www.crma.org.
Kate, thanks a lot for being with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio Thursdays and Fridays at 10:20 a.m. or download the podcast. Watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture or using your favorite podcast app. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.